Welcome back to Factorio Space Age. My name is Nilaus and I will be continuing this series, albeit at a slower pace. I still have lots of things that we want to do and the base is chugging along. So just to highlight what we're going to do in this series moving forward, we're going to be completing the legendarizing of the science, and we are then going to do some debugging of just trying to make sure that the logistics system is working and actually can do all the stuff that we think it can do because we put in the pieces, and then we actually want to see if it works. Then we are going to definitely get to the Shattered Planet, so don't worry, we'll get some more progress on that as well. And then whatever else comes up in as we move along. So you're also very welcome to leave comments on ideas for what you'd like to see. We're going to be doing masterclasses more like this summer, so don't worry, they are on the agenda, but I need to have a deeper understanding. So speaking of deeper understanding, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to achieve some deeper understanding. This thing here is a new spaceship that we built. Or I built. It's basically just a copy of the blue science because it's just set up to blue science, but I thought this is a good template for us to build. Because what we want to do today is yellow science, legendary yellow science. So I was like, okay, let's figure out how that actually works. And if I look at it, I'm like, oh, okay, well this is 33. That's a pretty good number. It would be nice if it was more, but let's just count on this one, and then have a look at it. So if we look at it, it looks daunting, but it really isn't. So if we look at 11 processing units, oh, that's actually funny. These are not actually legendaries. So let's do that here. There, legendaries. Okay, so let's work through this, and that's 11. And if I just have a single one building here, then that actually is enough. So if I need one, or if I need 11, then we can go back and say, okay, so it's about 50 here and about 5 and a little bit of sulfuric acid. So sulfuric acid is another thing, and then reds. These red ones are easily keeping up. The green ones are easily keeping up. So, and that was easily keeping up. So it's just, for the blue circuits, we just need one of each of the buildings. No problem there. If we want to make all of it in space, and that's kind of what I want. I want to see if we can make all of it in space, following that logic, and then you can decide afterwards whether you think that's worth it or not. If I look at this ratio here, I can see that there is a slight deficit. So be it. There's a slight deficit. It's not going to work all the time because we're going to be running out of coal, I think, on the spaceship. So this will not be working fully, but it'll work on something. Also, yellow science isn't the one that's used the most. So we can always just make 2 ships. So even though I'm designing this for 33, it's probably not going to be 33. It's probably more going to be like 20, to be honest. This one would satisfy up to a little bit more than 30. So then if we look at this part here, we're tracing it. Let's actually trace the low density structures first, because low density structure is 16.5. That is a single one building over here, and I need some copper, and it needs some iron. The iron is easy here, and the copper is also easy, but these are normal products. So that's normal iron ore and normal calcite into this, and then with legendary plastic bars, then we get the legendary low density structure. So we need a lot of legendary plastic. We also need some legendary plastic over here. So that's probably going to be our main point. Main problem is getting enough legendary plastic. The last part is the robot frames. So if we just start drilling this one down here, we can see that there will actually be enough of everything except for the flying robot frames. I don't know if I want to just kind of force that. I could maybe force it like this. And then I'd have enough of everything, but you know, maybe I'll do that. If we just drill down on the actual quantities, we can also see that here we're basically making twice. We're just getting enough robot frames, but we're making twice as much electric engines as we need, and we're making twice as much engines as we need for twice as much electric engines. So we need a quarter of the engines and half of the electric engines for a ratio. So putting all this together, there's a little bit of steel. We also need some batteries because this part here, this one, it requires batteries. So we also need dynamic batteries. And batteries is more of the sulfur, which we need for the blue science as well. And then a little bit of legendary iron and copper. We have the plastic, and then this. So all of this done, these are the buildings we need to squeeze in on the spaceship. So that's both good and bad, and I've built this thing here. This is just me trying to break it down and figure out how much I actually need. If we wanted to make it into 24, then sort of breaking it down, and 24 is the number that I've sort of decided, and then breaking it down, and then if we then drill it down and look at it over on the right hand side, you can see that it's a little bit of calcite, normal calcite, not very much legendary coal. Then there's some normal iron and some legendary copper, some legendary iron and legendary and non-legendary copper. So if we look at this, it's not that bad. The problem will actually be space for all of these buildings and the routing in between. So that's going to be what we will be managing here. So the first thing I want to do with this spaceship is I am going to grant myself some space by killing all of this. There. Because that enables me to kill this design. With this plot that we're moving around, we do not need that. Let's also kill some of this and this here. And all these have to go out. So that's going to give us some more room. Like this fuel processing is really nice to have right here. But it doesn't really need to be there. What if I could build it? Oh, wow. Yes, pause. Okay, so they are coming in. What if I could make those down here and just kind of get a better setup for this? That and that. So this could be a really good setup, I think. Probably need to do this here. And then we need a beacon as well. That's going to be here. Right, so this is kind of going to be the essence of this. And then I'm going to be bringing it in from here. And this also has the added advantage that I only have one calcite that goes into both. And these are just normal, no legendaries here. That's why we pick it up. This also means that we have an extra line out here that we don't need anymore. The outside line could then be used for something else. And what I'm thinking that something else should be is actually some of the things that I might need in different places, like plastic. We're going to need plastic for both for the red circuits, and we're going to need plastic for low density structures. So maybe it's actually advantageous to take the plastic and put it out on the belt and then just let it float around. It could also be advantageous to put other things out on the belt, and that's something we should experiment with. I'd like to move this part because this is a good build area. Move that over to be using this area. Maybe we'll have to sort of take this away and then use that area. I'd love that. Let's try that, and we can change these recipes here. The reason why is because here I produce the nuclear reactor, and here I consume the steam. So if I can get those a little bit closer, that would be like all of these pipes here are kind of interfering with the work. So if we can move it over here, if I can move that down here, I think we're onto something that will give us a little more space. So this is kind of now cleaned up a little bit. We got lasers up front, we got a few lasers on the side. We're not going to need many lasers on the side, but we can have a little bit. Now it's time for us to get this part sort of pieced together in a nice way, and we're going to start by getting the ice. Okay, this was obviously not the right one, and that goes into, I think that's the one, and you're going to be the iron one. Yes, there we go. The reason I'm doing this is because this will be inbound here, but I want it to be outbound on the outside belt. So this one has to be, we'll set these as usual here. Oops. There. And that goes on the outside belt. So you're going to be bringing in, and they're going to go out. And then the ice will be thrown out here, which is fine. We'll probably move it a little bit afterwards. But how do I do the same thing with this? If I do it this way here, then it goes on the outside belt. And I don't want that. So I have to kind of go this way here. Oh, there's another problem. I also need the ice in here. Maybe you need to go all the way out here, and you'll be the ice. There. Then I can do that one, that one. And they will then share on an outbound like this, and you're going to be also, I guess. And then they can now be getting inbound, and you can go here, here, oh, yeah, and yeah. I guess this one will be over here. So the water will go onwards, and then moving on into something else. Great. I think we want a box of water for the sake of it. There we go. Somehow. Okay. That's good. Maybe we can actually take this entire thing. I'm actually gonna take you out because I now have an idea that it can go in here. Oh yes, that's beautiful, I think. Yep, and then I can get you. We'll then have to go somehow in here. There you go, so that's connected. And the other one will be going here. I don't know where exactly, but maybe like this. Yes, there's now a connection. Good. And the water will then be going up because it needs to go up to this part and it needs to go up to this part here. So we definitely need to water. This looks really good actually. If I just hook this up, the water goes in. That's pretty good. Let's hook this up and then hope that it works. We are gonna get you. Oh, that's a problem. Well, we'll just switch this. You're gonna go in, and then I'm gonna get that outbound with ice only. Thank you. Good that you brought the ice out here. Good. And you're gonna be out here and throw it overboard. Great. So that ice goes out, and I know that you can always go, it should go in there. Yeah, but I don't want to bother with it. That's fine. Good. We have now these are this is working. This is a nice little unit. That's actually surprisingly small and surprisingly nice. Cool. Next unit, and that will be configuring this space here to be available. So I think I'm going to start by having this design. That's going to be a little bit tricky. We're going to need 2 of these. And one will be that, and the other one will be that. And that means we actually have to bring it in from this location. So that's going to be basically this side. No. Well. Here and here. You see the problem? Yes, I do. How far can it go out? It can actually go out. Yeah. Sweet. Alright, it works. And they should be... you need to go all the way in here. And that's going to be a little bit tricky with water. It's not going to be tricky at all with the water. That's crazy good. Perfect. And then I'm going to get these 2 inbound. Wish. And it's working. And then we get the coal out. So now the coal has to go in here. But we need this to be faster. So I really shouldn't have hooked these up. Because now I'm going to waste materials by doing that. Yeah, this sucks. Let's try something like this. I'm only taking a single one of each of these, but as long as they're beaconized, then they should be fine. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to beaconize them and get some kind of setup here that works. And this maybe feels a little unsafe because I need to connect it. Okay, this one will there. Can you go 1 up? If I go 1 up, then... maybe like this. It'll still connect. Yes, indeed. Oh, do we have that requested? Yes, we do. I like that. I like that a lot. Honestly, it connects to all the things, and it means that I can go out here. Get that linked up. Like that. Perfect. And the steam is now coming in here. Alright, steam is working. We don't have a solution for the water, but we're going to need water in here as well. And we're going to need water for the next one. The next one will be, I guess, something like this. I'm going to need space for you to get out and merge with that. And then I'm going to need space for here. Oops. Here connection. Ooh. Okay, that's also good. Alright, so I think that water definitely has to be right here. Water there. And there can be the water. And you are going to be there for water. Great. I like it. Connect. 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 And... Well... That's going to be a little bit tricky. Well, it was close. It was close to good. Can I build it here? Yes, I can. I can definitely build it here. Oh, the spaghetti is overwhelming us. Ta-da! Water is connected somehow. Water flows out here. You have water. You have water. You have now water. Perfect. I think this might actually just be it. All we need is a inbound. Let's test it here. You're going to be getting that. Here we go. Does it work? Yeah, I mean, this is not working because it's not beacon, but that's fine. I will do that. Yeah. There. So that goes in here, and then I just need some coal, and this will actually be the legendary version. I love this part. There we go. Now, another issue. If I was getting... Then I could say the coal could be on this belt, and then it could also put out the other part. Yeah, okay, that's not really working. So you have to go one down. So that will pick up the legendary coal and output the legendary plastic. It's needing a beacon, and this is really not enough for legendary plastic, is it? No. It's really not enough. And so it'll have to be something like this for the legendary plastic outbound. Or can I just move this down here? Yeah, I think that's actually safer. Good. And then inbound and outbound. And then we might as well stack it. Good. And this will actually have a constraint because I don't want to have a million of that on the belt. So you're going to be reading it, and then that will say something amount of legendary plastic is on that rotation belt. I don't know, like 100? I don't know. We have no idea. We'll put something, and that's definitely not enough. 200. It's going to be a little bit weird to do this, but I think that's the right way to get it inbound. Okay, seems to work. Everything here works, and let's go to the next one. The science is up here, and this is what I said. We now need one more build in here. Oops, that one. This will be the engines. And the engines need to be able to input directly. There. Now we really don't need a lot to facilitate it, because this requires 1.4 or 1.5 electric engines per second. So that's, let's say 3 electric engines. This is producing almost 6. So it's about half of that. This is 2.8 engines, and we need about half of that, so that's called 1.5 electric normal engines, and this one's producing 4, so it's about a third of this. So we can need 1.5 pipes and less than 1 steel, and so it's really low quantities. So what we can do then, this one, let's just do that. There you go. Actually, I also want these steel productivity going. They are really expensive, but I need those for my steel up in orbit here. Just anything to save. So we'll actually, let's do that one first. Okay, so this one needs pipes and steel. This one, steel will go here. So steel comes in, and greens, and you need greens coming in here, and steel goes in here and in here, and also the greens. So all I need is the batteries there, and also these 2 up here. So this design is really robust. All I need now is some kind of thing here. Legendary and legendary. Good. And then this also kind of feels weird to me, because like the quantities are so low that wouldn't it just be better to have legendary iron out here and then just grab it, because it's really low. And this one also needs some legendary iron. So I'm kind of thinking, what if I let legendary iron and legendary copper also flow on this belt together with the plastic? The plastic is going to be picked up here. We could pick up the copper right here. We could put the iron in here somehow. Or we could also look at this build and this build as being close, and therefore they could merge. But that's needing iron pipe, so that's good. Yeah, so I think this is fine. It needs some iron inbound and then some steel in this belt, but it's very little steel. It actually might even be so little steel that I can do this. Actually, now I'm thinking, would it be better to have not the steel, sorry, not the iron plates, but actually the iron ore out here, so that it gets crafted on. So this one would, for example, would be getting legendary iron ore inbound, which would then subsequently go into these two and also into that, which means this becomes legendary steel. That's the only way we can make legendary steel, and that would sort of also feed this belt, because this belt really doesn't need much. 1.5, 1.5, and this one is another less than 1, so it's 4 per second, not a problem. So this thing here could actually satisfy all of that. That would also allow us to maybe jumble this around and then just basically have this being copper. I don't know if this is going to keep up with the copper though. It might or it might not. And then that one needs iron as well, which is going to be a little bit annoying because that's not quite there. It's actually the most problematic part. Just trying to see, this is the one that has the highest quantity, so it's also the one that needs to be serviced the best. Yeah, maybe that can be switched. Let's leave that as a thought experiment, because it would also mean that this iron and copper would also have to be crafted immediately. And instead of having, yeah, I don't like that idea. I think I need to get it in as, because then otherwise I'd have to build the plates here and the plates here for this as well. And also non-legendary plates here. Doesn't make sense. Good. Let's have a look at the low density structure, because that's a little bit more cumbersome. We're going to be building it. This and this are both coming from normal, while that plastic is also coming. So okay, actually this should be really simple, because everything has to come from this belt. Okay, so you're going to go a little bit in. You're going to be going from, I think I'm going to build it down here because it's easier for me to cope with. You don't need plastic, you just need, well, you need plastic inbound here. So this will just be like plastic, legendary plastic inbound. No problems. Then this needs calcite and iron ore. So I guess I need those though out here. Iron ore goes in here. And calcite is unfortunately has to be doubled up. Do these need to be legendarized? No, they don't. This is 62.9 non-legendary. I don't think I need it anymore. Yeah, so this doesn't need to be legendary. And over here, I'll do that and then change this to, oh crap, that's copper. Yeah, so that's not working. Whew, okay, so I guess it has to be built in the corner now. I just realized. Yeah, so the challenge here is that I need to build that one, because that's the only way we get the steel inbound or the copper inbound. And then the question is this going to be enough? No, there's going to be a huge surplus of iron here that we have to deal with. And yeah, really huge surplus of iron, because they don't, this needs way more copper, so let's get you into that one. Do I really need to build that for both? No, I don't want to build it for both, but I kind of have to. Let's do this. Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna get that inbound. I'll just mark it as here. And you're gonna get that outbound. Mark you as that. Which will then go over here. Try to be moving in. And then the rest just gets thrown out. Something like this. And then our priority go in here, pick it up, and then whatever else is going out there, you're going to be putting in here for the calcite. Don't need to mark this, but just so that it's easier to see what the hell we're doing. Okay, I like this, I think. Yeah, I think this is correct. Alright, so this is an option, and this will mean that we get here, here. I don't think this is enough, to be honest, and that one, that one. So these are working. Well, maybe it... I don't think this is enough in terms of product speed wise. And why did that did nothing, right? I wanted this to be out here. That, because then I can get a beacon in here, which is necessary. Because these are not fast enough. This one really has to go. And you have to be stacked. Great. Yeah. I think this is correct as well. And we'll do this. Then they get in. That's great. And all I need now is the plastic inbound. Although it does need 22 plastic. That's a little bit more than I had anticipated. Then let's do this. That. And 22 plastic. It might not be feasible to get it out here. Especially not if I only get like 200. It's an option. We'll see where this leads and then we'll take it from there. So this one will now be an ingredient that has to go up here. Now, on top of that, I am also going to... You need some normal iron here. Which we are going to be building almost from there. I guess the easiest way to make normal iron is just to do this one. There we go. And we still need some sulfur as well, so we need to also have a build for the sulfur here. That's going to be that one. And all the carbon will be thrown out. There. And so we do have a lot of things that are being trashed, but I don't really care about the trashing when it is a matter of like normal items, because we should be getting so much of that. Yeah. And I'm gonna do the same thing for the outbound. How are we gonna get that outbound here? The funny thing is the ice here would be really beneficial to put in here, but I really don't want to tie these two together. That's just one of those things that I really don't like to do. So we are not going to do that. We're going to do it like this, and then you get it. That's not how ice works. It needs to go into or I take it from that pipe. Ooh, sexy. Yeah. All right, that's a lot of things that need to be reprocessed here. I think I'm gonna do that. So that I only have water a few places and not every place. Right? Something like this. And this will give us the sulfuric acid we need. Yes. But I also need to be able to get out here the carbon. Junk carbon here. There we go. Junk carbon out. This will really not be producing very much, so I don't need to worry about ratios and all that stuff, because it's really not producing much, or really not needing much. Now this needs to be next to it, and it needs something from the pipes. Oh yeah, okay, that's also kind of silly that I did it that way. Oops. You somehow like that. I can't do that. There's always like something here that's a little bit iffy. I can do this one, right? And then all of this has to be moved again. And now I think we get into the phase where I'm just shuffling things around to get things moving. There's going to be a lot of things that just need to be moved. This battery here is not affected by beacon. It really should be affected by beacon. So if I do that, it's affected by beacon. I don't need 22. I need, how much do I need? 5. Okay. Yeah, so it's a third of that. That means we can just do this part here. Okay, so I think that this part has to go on that belt. This one has to go here, together with that part, which we still need to work with. And then we just have to figure out the sort of internal part that is... It's going to be a little tricky, because this is going to be where we produce iron and copper to put... legendary iron and copper to put on the main belt in the right ratio, which is going to be difficult to figure out what the right ratio is. So let me do that and see if we can pass things and get them moving. So this has been a little bit of a nightmare to squeeze all of it in, but I think we have something that I'm ready to fire up, and then we'll fix all the bugs that are there. Because there's no way that things are going to work flawlessly in the first attempt here. So some of the things we have here, this is the iron part, goes in. We have to, even though it's not consuming that much, then there's still a big difference between having a beacon and not having a beacon. So we need to squeeze in a beacon here. I moved the legendary coal production closer to the legendary plastic production. I mean, I could probably make this even closer, but I can't make them sort of touch because other things are in the way. Here we have the legendary low density structure, which goes out on this belt, combined with the legendary blue circuits, which is down here. Those combine, go up and in here. The batteries are being made down here, and they need to sort of jump and go in here. But this is then the legendary iron and copper, which is surprisingly small, but it does need to have a beacon affecting. This beacon is affecting these two, and this beacon is affecting that one. So that's be the copper and the iron goes out on this belt. But also, if there is more than 200 on this little teeny tiny belt, I don't know if that can store 200. It probably can when it's 4 stacked high. Then go out this way and just throw it out. So it should be copper constrained, and that's how I want it to be. Right, I think that what I need to do is just kind of just fire it up and then see what breaks. Yeah, let's do it. So the way we fire it up is this one. And then we just trace what's going to happen. We're going to start with this one because that's going to be the first thing we want to do. Yes, we're seeing that something is being created. This is happy. Yep, and we're also getting some steel. We want to get this one completely saturated because it's going to happen. So this will need some kind of saturation. Okay, here. All right, that's also saturated now. So we'll just sort of go backwards now. Saturate here and here as well. Maybe not. Okay, that is actually working. No. How's this not working? Oh, right. That's kind of a... All right. Good thing. Let's just kill that one. There we go. That was some of the blocks here that were running out. There we go. That should be stalling, and that means it doesn't pick up anymore. This is now constrained by the steel crafting speed, but I think that should still be enough. It's producing 7, so if it can keep going, and it can. Right, so that's stockpiling. Let's go back and trace some other things. You are not working because you are not working because you are not working because there's no copper. Why is there no copper coming in? Copper's not coming in because you're not coming in. Oh, are we? We're not actually exporting these in legendary quality back out. That one and that one and that one, I guess. There we go. Those are important. Oh, and also here. I should actually just make it in any quality because then I could use it for everyone. But now I'm doing it this way. Alright, it's reprocessing. This is now working. Okay, so the iron is not keeping up fast enough. That's interesting. I did not see that coming. It should not be a problem. Or at least it's a workable problem. Because all I need is just one more beacon here. If I put one more beacon in, then this one will be faster. It will produce 22.5, which should be enough. And I am then also realizing that this should be belts. There we go. So if it's more, then just throw it out. It's a little bit weird that it throws that out. It could also throw out directly that. Which would probably be better. Yeah. Okay, let's change that. Okay, so I think that we fixed this issue here. What I'm doing now is I am outputting the legendary ore if there is too much here, and then it goes out and gets thrown overboard. I don't know if that should be the case, but we'll now need to enable it. And some of the other things were routed a little bit different, so we now send this around, and then it should start up again. Okay, we have blue circuits are actually just producing because we were just missing some water into this sulfur build. This one will also be stalling quite easily, I think. This is producing 2.5. Maybe that's actually needing a little bit more. I don't know, 2 point... Okay, so this is making 145 per second. I think it's going to be enough. I think it's going to be enough because we really don't need a lot here. Like, this needs barely anything. So I think that when it stabilizes, I will have enough here, even though it's really, really low quantities. And let's have a look. Is this working? This one is full on both, which is great. This is kind of the intended behavior. The question is then, can these produce? They are only producing 16, and this is producing 23. This one will obviously be consuming a hell of a lot more. But it's still satisfied. So as long as it's stalling, that's fine. You're stalling, that's fine. You're stalling, that's fine. What is not stalling? The not stalling is this one. So not getting enough copper. Why are we not getting enough copper? Because we're not getting enough... We are not getting that one outbound. Okay, so that's not surprising, but, well, a little bit sloppy. There. There we go. So we should get that one out. And now we need to find somewhere out here. We need to get some more resources in. And we're really short on resources. So I'm just going to go back and forth here because we're not really... We shouldn't be needing more resources built. But there we go. That's working. We're not getting the low density structures because they are kind of struggling out here on the belt. Let's have a look at you. You are not getting any petroleum because you're not getting any coal, because you're not getting any sulfur, because you're not getting... Okay, so this doesn't really work. Ah, this one's also just hard forcing it in, and it should not. This should be telling us what we are having here. Then it should only be enabled when this is less than, I don't know, 10 or something. So we'll do that. This one should be ready and go, but you here should be reaching for the next one. So give me another carbon. There we go. And that goes in here. That gets us more oil. Get us more oil, please. Yeah, we need a constant supply of carbon here. And there's more carbon coming. More. That's great. Okay, so now this should be a little bit more of a steady production. Giving us some oil or some of that. And hopefully, yes. Okay, that works fine. Is this going to get sufficient? Apparently, yes. Except it's not really getting there. Oh, that's sad. There we go. Now it's working. Oh, it's always nice to see this. And goes up, goes in. And we finally, woo, we have yellow science. Can't believe it. This one is just waiting for temperature to drop. That is amazing. And, oops, I just saw this minuscule optimization that we only want to put in one fuel set at a time. Can you believe it? We're making it. And why are we not making very much? I think that it's probably going to be a... I'm thinking something here. This one should then do that. Probably better to have it the other way around. Oops. What? No copper? And maybe that is... It should be enough, I think. And this one can now be brought back in here. There. Yeah, I think that's a great way of just getting it. That also means that you should not be constrained. You should just always put out, because you're going to be putting out and just filling up this belt with stacked plastic, and then once it gets up here, it just gets stuck. Great, that's much nicer. And we'll also grab some from this, which will just get some, and it'll always be prioritizing the one that uses the least. So that's good. That's working, and you are not working. So plastic, copper is definitely a problem here. And the reason it's a problem is simply because we're not getting enough of this in metallic inbound. I suspect that we have our culprit over here. This one is a little bit too aggressive. We have more than 500 of these. Okay, here we go. Let's... Okay, so some parts are super busy, and some parts seem to be really empty. Like, here's a hugely empty swath. So if that was just a little bit better distributed, that would be nice. And I think I need that. Oh, right. That's not actually a good idea to have both of those, since we are going to be using that. There you go. Much better idea. Because then it'll at least keep up with the same ratio that we are getting in here. So I love this kind of debugging where you sort of... The design is working, but there's just something that isn't quite working. So this is good. We're actually struggling on the output. And that's because we're making 128 and I can only press 80 on a moving belt. So that's something. And why? See, now we got into the part where we are completely empty. Also, didn't like the fact that it looked like it was actually something moved past. This is so bad. Like, come on, these little chunks. Okay, so don't know why that is, but they got that. And then now we get into the part where they are going to be happy. Yep. Very happy. And just keep filling up these chunks. See, this is where it's super dense. I am kind of feeling that I could get a lot more of this. 500 and 500. Because clearly there's room on the belts for all of these. Yep. There's clearly enough room on the belt. So let's also just get this one even higher up. 700. I don't know if it's going to be jamming, but... and this here, if it's more than 200, let's go more than 300. And this is only converting one of them. Right, I think it's working. Let's see how well it's working. It's working to the tune of almost. The last one is somewhat working. All right, and we are accumulating something. That's also brilliant. We're also seeing that we're getting quite a lot of resources still. Legendary resources, because we're not really consuming much. Huh. What's our holdup? This is not affected by beacon. Are you kidding me? Oh, that's the reason why this is bad. Yeah. Alright, squeezed it in, and we put another beacon in, which means this is over affected by beacons, but that I don't care about. That is of no concern. The interesting thing is this working? Almost. Okay, so it's clearly still a problem of getting rid of enough circuits here. Yeah. And this has to be there because it needs to affect that. Okay. Maybe I could have an extra output here on this side that will just be throwing things directly out, but only if it is connected to that one. So you're going to be reading ingredients there, and this one will then look at ingredients such as that one. No, 50. That's not correct. Oh, it's not ingredients. It's of course content. There you go. 300. If this is greater than 250, which is a lot, then you're fine. Just throw it out. Throw this out. Throw away. Yes. And then this doesn't really need to be there anymore. And this should probably also have the same. Otherwise, it's just a little bit stupid. Did I mess something up, or did I just burn through all of it? I think I just burned through all of it. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And that's probably simpler as well. It's such a small amount. And that's going to be throwing this out. You're stuck, yes. Yeah, this is much better. Now the issue is, of course, can we pick it up fast enough? I'm a little bit cautious that this is not picking things up fast enough. But that's gonna have to be the way it is. Okay, and you are looking happy. Okay, you're happy, and you should also be. Now it's a plastic issue. There's always gonna be some kind of issue. And then that's gonna be over here. Oh, right, that's because this one wasn't affected by beacon either. So, I mean, these two definitely should share a beacon if they're both beacon hungry. Aren't we all? There we go. So now you're beaconized. And you're beaconized. And that's gonna make everything much better. There we go. Yes. It's now output constraint, but that's 80 per second that's coming out, so that's definitely enough. So this will stack up very, very quickly. Okay, and we want to get to a point where everything is working. Okay, the copper's coming out. Is what's okay? Yeah, now we're getting to the part that's the real issue here, and that is actually running out of asteroids fast enough, because we had a massive repository of asteroids to work with, but now that they're running out, then it is going to be this is the real bottleneck, and that is asteroid processing. We have a remarkable number of these available, but when they get to 50, then we'll just start tuning them. It doesn't matter. This is amazing. I love it. And we have a little bit of this, so we just need to throw it back on Novice. So this looks really good, I think, and we're now coming back to Novice, and we're going to be setting things out. Yeah, okay. Yes, definitely sending some things out. And stuff's not working because we're simply not getting enough of the metallic asteroids inbound. So, legendary metallic asteroids inbound. We do what we can, we do what we must, and we're processing as fast as we can, and whenever they come in, they're going to be processed, and it's going to be as efficient as possible. As efficient as it can humanly be. And we are going back on Novice, and let's have a look here. Did we get that inbound? No, not really. What is holding us up? That's holding us up, so let's get that one. We need something with yellow signs, so and something that will actually work. So here comes the yellow signs. Shouldn't we have dropped something in? Yes. Oh, that's 100. It should be 1,000. There, 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 and there. There we go. And they will be put in, and they will be in priority, because we want to prioritize the stuff that we get for free from orbit, and then only get the other one if we really need it. But as you can see, we are needing to top it up. But if I wanted to, and I do, then I could just add another one of these ships, because this ship is now going to be a blueprint that I am going to make available for you, dear patrons. So thank you very much for continuing to support the channel with your patron support. And as my little gift to you is that I neatly wrap up the blueprints and then provide them to you on Patreon. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching and following the series into the 67th episode. So until then, take care. Until next time, take care and stay effective.